Racks of rabbit. Question is it worth all the work? Check this out and make up your own mind. Well, hello there my friends. Welcome back to the Scott Ree Project, and as you've already seen, we are going to be doing a bit of rabbit butchery. Now, what I've got here then is 4 ferreted rabbits by my friend, the pocket rocket, that is Shane. Now what I want to do then is something, I suppose, bordering on lunacy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to make some racks of rabbit. Yeah, you heard right, racks of rabbit. So the first thing I want to do then quickly, I've done many videos on this, is I just want to get to the loins. So I'm just going to quickly nip off the back legs, and then as you can see inside there, still got the liver put over there, those lovely kidneys, nice covering of fat, and get in there, get the lungs out. That's nice and clean now, so give that a wipe with my rag. Then what I want to do then, about, let me think here, just one rib in, that thin rib, we are just going to cut there. Get this beautiful Victorinox scimitar, have a look at that. And then just quickly, and that gives us our whole shoulders, and we're going to make the racks off this lovely fillet here. While I got this off quickly, I'm just going to bone them out. For a later date, I want to be making a rabbit suet pudding, which is going to be, trust me, fantastic. So all I'm looking for then is just the eye of that loin, and then I want to put all the trim, all the waste into the stock pot. So as you can see then, I've boned out the rabbit. There's all my legs, there's those lovely loin fillets, and obviously the carcass and all the flat meat straight into the stock pot. Now onto these shoulders. Now with this being a wild rabbit, it's not very big, not like a farmed rabbit, so can be a bit fiddly, or as Run DMC would say, it's tricky. All I'm doing then is removing the shoulders, just seaming them out, so we're left with those 4s there. Next then, onto the shoulder, I just want to trim off that flat meat so we can expose the bone. And then you can see where we're aiming for then. As you can see there, so I want to 1, 2 through the cartilage. I will show you that now close up. You can see those bones there. So the rib comes up and then it goes off at an angle. We just want to catch, oh, a bit of heart. So we just want to catch each side. I shall turn one round for you to see. Knife all the way to the neck, and that gives us nice longish ribs is what we're after. As you can see, it's starting to take shape there. Okay, so on this one you can really see what we're aiming at now. You can see that the ribs come up and then they go to an angle, and we want to be cutting either side of that. So just your knife right into the neck, and then just 1, 2, and that will leave you with lovely, clean racks to trim off. 1, it's that simple with a nice sharp knife. 2, and there we have it. Now what I want to do is the first few ribs from the neck, I'm going to take the first 2, 1, 2, and then straight through. Now that is what we are aiming for. So next then we want to tidy up and trim off any excess of the ribs. So what I'm going to do is straight across the top, through, Again, straight across the top, that remaining cartilage and through. Then that gives us our perfect little, and they are little, racks. Same with these. Again, all the flat meat, all the trim into the stock pot for when I make my rabbit suet pudding. And that, just put it down, and there you go. I mean, when I said fiddly and a bit, I suppose, ridiculous, I wasn't joking. But we're always pushing on the SRP. You know, we like to try these things. Why, I don't know. We are mental. Okay then, so I want to show you what we're aiming for. It's basically this lovely little rack of rabbit. Now, on to the fiddly part. So we get our rack, we trim off any excess flat meat. As you can see there, I'm just going to go, I've taken it off the top, and just with my knife, just following the ribs, and we're left with that beautiful hunk of meat. I'm going to square that off, and then the fun part begins. So what we need to do then, as you can see, that's the eye of the meat. We are just going to score across with our knife, and then in between each rib, very carefully in a line to mark out where we need to trim. So repeat on the other side. There's our eye, so just above, cut through the membrane, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many ribs, there you go, 7 you've got, and then where your line is, score across the membrane again. So we're just cutting that, and then it's a case of just starting to scrape the membrane off those ribs, starting to clean up nicely. And then this other side, we've already got our line, as you can see, and just scrape the membrane just with the tip of your knife off like that. Right then, it's just a case of scraping down the bone, and you'll start to take off what is left. Very little, because these, like I said, are wild rabbits. As you can see, we've cleaned that up nicely. And again, just on the inside, I'm just going to do the other side, just scraping down. Is life too short for this? There you go, look. And you should be able to separate these into their own ribs, just like that. Continue on the other side, being very careful. And what we'll do is we'll tidy these up, trim them up. As you can see, very thin. If you want to give it a helping hand, just where you marked it, in, up, and that leaves us with the ribs all exposed. Next, all we need to do then is each rib with a rag, just catch each rib and then pull, and all that meat will come off and leave you with a nice, oh, got a snap bone there. That's always the way, you can't help it. Wild food, you know, it's not knocked over the head, it's not farmed, and that leaves us with those beautiful exposed ribs. And I will repeat with the other side. Be nice and gentle. I think I've said before, the wet rag for the butcher is his best friend. It allows you to get some leverage It allows you to grip. It's perfect. Right then, all we need to do then before we tidy these up, I know it looks like a ridiculous mess, is just sever the backbone by gently putting our knife and just tapping it, and that will free up our racks. Then we can just put them down and we can say nip that one off, and we can nip that straggler off, and then we turn it over. We can always go over that and then just like that, and that gives us that ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous rack of rabbit. My God, what was I thinking? So just give it a fettle, expose the ribs, and then we'll tidy it up. And there you are. A lot of work, yes, but it's something different to do with the shoulders. Are you still awake out there? Most probably the craziest thing I've ever done. So score across there, score across there, knife in, and then scrape. Now if you had a farmed rabbit, they would have a lot more meat on, they won't be as tasty, but you may find it easier on a farmed rabbit. But as I said, because these are wild, this is what you get. But I'd rather do this with a wild rabbit, which has got plenty of flavour, than with a farmed rabbit. So with that wet rag again, just grab the rib and pull the meat off. And you can always go over these again, tidy them up, but because we've scored each side, that meat comes away really easily, as you can see. While it's safe to say that is a lot of work for what you get, but what you do get, this finished product, is pretty cool. You know, normally the shoulders would go into a stew, or you could cut them down, I suppose, and deep fry them, but I just wanted to try this to see if it really was worth all the hassle. I suppose if you can make a dish using the legs and the loin, maybe cook these really slow, serve them on a plate, I don't know, with some mash and potatoes, and then have a couple of these by the side of it just stood up. I think if you wanted to do something special, it is definitely worth it. But as a bit of fun, it's a lot of hard work. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cook a couple of these up quickly to see how they behave and see what the cooked product looks like. But hey ho, that looks good anyway, doesn't it? 4 rabbits. So I think we need to cook these really, really quickly in a pan. So I just want to make a bit of a coating for them. Say what? A couple of tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to get some nice, freshly cracked black pepper in. Get that in. Some salt. Get that in. I will have some nice dried thyme just to create a nice crust. Then we need just a little bit of Coleman's mustard powder. I've got a small tin here, just a small tin, just get a pinch of that in there. Take a bit more, don't want to use too much, don't want to waste that. Small tin there, we put that over there. We'll give that a shufty and get these ridiculous dinky rabbit loins in. Close it up and give it a good coating. Then we'll get these in the pan. They've got a lovely herby, mustardy coating, nice little crust. Then we'll get these in a hot pan, cooked really quick. I imagine 2, maybe 3 minutes aside, and then we'll see how they turn out. Okay then, a knob of butter, a drizzle of oil to stop said butter a-burning, and give it a shufty is the official term. Okay, that's nicely melted, so we will get our dinky little rabbit racks in, see how these behave, because if they don't behave, they won't be invited back. So that's what they look like cooked. Not too bad at all. That was about 2 minutes aside. Obviously take a bit more time on the French trimming. They look pretty cool. So what I need to do then is to put them on this plate. Look at that, self-righting. It's like they're magnetic. Get them on there and just lightly tent them with a bit of foil. Okay then, now for the question on everybody's lips. How did they turn out? Right, let's go down a rib. If I can show you how juicy they are. Got that nice char. What I got here is some mayonnaise and some harissa. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. My friends, believe me, look how juicy that is. If I can show you there. And with that, it's actually worth the hassle. Oh yeah, I'm not joking, right? They are absolutely awesome. Can you get that? With that lovely harissa, all charred, that crust. Well, my friends, I hate to admit it, but that was absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. And yes, I know I've said it before, it's a lot of work. But it's just such a great cut. I mean, as a starter, absolutely perfect. As a main, you need about 20. But with that crust we put on, with the mustard, the flour and the herbs, give it that lovely caramelisation. Cut into it, lovely and juicy. And then teamed with this harissa mayo, it was just a winner. Really, really brilliant. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Scott Ree Project. Something a little different, to say the least. And if you've liked what you've seen here today on the SRP, please click subscribe, join the movement. It's down here, the red button, you know the drill. Also find me on my social media, Facebook, The Scott Ree Project. Get on there, click like, you can see what I get up to. Also on my Twitter, at The Scott Ree Project. So until next time, I wish I had about another 10 rabbits, because I could sit and eat them all day. Absolutely brilliant. All the best. Take care. That is all she wrote, baby.